Good morning indeed, and welcome along to Good Morning Uganda Extra. Thank you very much for sticking around to UBC. It's a Friday morning and the energy is up there, if you ask me, and that is why we are here to give you more of the conversation. Though, this time around we're going to be talking matters monitoring drug safety in the country. A very, very sensitive topic, if you ask me, but of course, health is a key priority for anybody, for any government, and for any sector. Regardless, because you will have to, prioritize your health. You will have to put everything aside to make sure that you're having good health, especially during this festive season. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. My guest this morning is Francis Odipio. Now, Francis Odipio does serve as the Inspector of Drugs at the National Drug Authority from the Directorate of Product Safety. A very good morning, sir, and many thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me here at the studios. Good morning, Mr. Sonko.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here to share with you about medicines this morning.
Okay. And talking about monitoring drug safety, there is a terminology you used before we went on air. It was rather quite hard for me to pronounce, but clearly break it down for the viewers. What does monitoring drug safety mean in the medical language?
I see you have systematically tried to dodge the word. I think you're going to bite your tongue. The word you're trying to run around is called pharmacovigilance.
Pharmacovigilance.
Yes, I just took it slowly. Pharmacovigilance. That long word actually comes from two words.
Okay.
Pharmaco.
Yes.
You know pharmacy.
Yes, pharmacy.
Yes, that word is kind of
somehow
somehow
with even pronouncing pharmaceutical back in the time. You know.
Yeah, so pharmacy, pharmaco, they are literally the same. They mean medicines. That's why you get your medicine from the pharmacy.
Okay.
Vigilance is an English word.
True.
To be vigilant,
How
to be
vigilant
alert, to be watchful. Okay? So when you coin the two words together, it becomes pharmacovigilance. And in medical terms, we just want to monitor what happens after you've used the medicine.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Coming in from the National Drug Authority brings me back to my first question this morning.
Okay.
We've had issues with differentiating the roles and the duties of some of these entities, especially in the health sector.
Yeah.
The NDA, the NMS, how am I forgetting the third one? Still,
is it GMS?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you look at all, the GMS, take us through. Are all these entities under the Ministry of Health? Do we have others that are independent of the ministry, so that my viewers can get the clear picture?
Okay. Actually, it's not just you that still seems to have a confusion amongst those three. Even we have healthcare workers who cannot differentiate these. Yeah, but let me make it clear.
Okay.
National Drug Authority, what is commonly shortened as NDA. National Medical Stores, also shortened as NMS, and Joint Medical Stores. These are three different entities. I'll take each of them at a time. I'll end with ND, National Drug Authority.
Because you're representing NDA.
So I'll start with the Joint Medical Stores.
Yes.
Joint Medical Stores is a private.
Okay.
I think I'll add not for profit, but they are faith-based facility. Okay. So they purchase medicines, store them, and supply to faith-based medical outlets.
That is the joint medical
That's
stores.
the joint medical stores. They are a bit private, but their main interest is not that profit and so on.
Okay.
Now let's come to national medical stores.
National medical stores.
They literally do the same thing.
Okay.
But for national medical stores, they are a government entity. They are a government agency under Ministry of Health.
Okay.
And their mandate is to purchase or procure, store these medical items, and then distribute to the public facilities. The Mulagos, the Chirudus, the Gingers, all those public facilities, their medical items supplied by national medical stores. And that's why you find these items for free when you go to these facilities.
Okay.
Now, coming back home to the National
NDA.
Drug Authority.
Yes.
Now, we are also a government agency under Ministry of Health, but with a different mandate.
Yes, what do you do?
We are the regulators. We regulate all these medical items, both in the private outlets, in the public outlets, and also those used in humans and those that are used in animals. So, before these items reach the market, they have to first pass through us. We vet them, we assess them to find out if they meet three criteria. One, Are they safe for use? Safety comes number one. Safety is a major aspect when it comes to medical products. Are they safe for use? Number two, do they actually work? Are they effective? Okay? If they work, are they able to withstand? Do they have the qualities that are expected of them? Okay? We usually shorten it to SEC: safety, efficacy, and quality. So all these items, before they reach the market, they must pass through us. We verify that they are good for consumption, and then we allow them to go on the market. But then we have, to achieve that, we're putting so many processes in place to ensure that these items actually they meet
the safety standards.
The safety efficacy.
That is still under the regulation.
That is under regulation.
Okay.
Yes. But now I'm coming from a part where we exclusively monitor safety of these items. Yeah. So I want to take you through the things we do to ensure that these items actually meet these, and to also sort of tell you why we have not had issues with our medical products. Yeah. So before you bring a medicine or a drug onto the market, you either as a distributor, either as a manufacturer, or as a middleman, you have to come to NDA and inform us that there's this item I want to put on the market. So we shall evaluate. Now with the medicines, it's a bit different from these other products. So medicines, you must first do research, because every medical item has a claim that this treats this prevents this, maybe this is used for identifying this disease. So all those claims must be substantiated with evidence. So you must do studies, and these studies must be appropriate. Okay? So you have to do studies, and you have to document every level of the studies, and then you bring it to us. We shall verify that.
Okay.
And then when you are satisfied that this product you want to bring on the market is actually okay, it meets our requirements,
okay,
we then put it now, we have a drug register.
Before we even go there to the drug register, I need to understand who is licensed, or who is in position of bringing these drugs into the country. Is it more like a business kind of thing, that if you're a business person, you're importing goods from Dubai, you're importing goods from China, from the UK? First, take us through also that. Who is supposed to bring? Is it only the government, or do we have individuals owning pharmacies who go in for these medicines as well?
Okay, I think now that is part of the requirements we have in place.
Okay.
Not everyone is just going to go out there, bring these items, or if you're someone who is within the country, you're just going to set up something and start manufacturing these items and bring them, flood our market with them. No, we have requirements, standards. Now, one of the requirements is that you must have a qualified person. You might be a business person, you have your money, you want to venture into the drug business, but we cannot just license you to do this business.
Please do this
we
for us,
want a qualified person.
Who can
and this
do?
qualified person is usually a pharmacist. Who are trained in that background. So you have to work
with a certificate.
It's actually a degree. Minimum is a degree, not a certificate.
Oh, no, because I see some certifications in the pharmacies. So
those are licenses.
Okay.
Those are NDA given licenses.
Okay.
Yes. And also these people have to be also given a certificate of practice by the regulatory body. They are by the practicing license body. That is a Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda.
Okay.
So they must be qualified. Okay. That's requirement number one. Number two, even if you have a qualified person, the place where you're going to operate from must be suitable. So we issue you another certificate of suitability of premises, because you're going to deal with items, and these items are very delicate. So where you put them matters. And I think if you remember maybe any of the products you have purchased,
yes,
every item has a storage requirement. Temperature, moisture, and so. So because of those, requirements, where you're going to put these items matters. So we have to come there, verify that these items are going to be stored in appropriate storage spaces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And looking at the medicines normally, at times when patients move to hospital or to pharmacies going in for different medicines or different drugs,
yes,
at times the prescriptions have an element of safety on it,
yep,
but then there's also an element of medicine having side effects.
Yes.
Now, this sort of creates insecurity among us, we the drug users, because if I'm a patient and I have been assigned or prescribed a drug that has side effects, I will have trust issues on using it. Now, put yourself in my shoes or in your shoes and you've been given this kind of drug or been prescribed this kind of drug, but it has side effects. How do you deal with this, and why do we have drugs on the market with side effects?
First of all, I want to make it clear
that
every drug actually has side effects, can cause side effects. Now, side effects are the minor effects these drugs cause, and sometimes they disappear, and they are minor. Okay? We also have drug reactions, what we call adverse drug reactions.
Okay.
Yeah, so every drug can potentially cause a side effect or a drug reaction. Yeah, so it's not that you're going to have a drug out there. I've seen some people make claim, these drugs are safe, they can't cause. No, that's a lie. It's not right. So every drug can potentially cause a side effect. Now, this varies from drug to drug and also from patient to patient. You know, we as humans, we have a lot of difference. One, genetically we're different. Then we have some other inherent differences. For example, we have females and males. That difference alone creates some factors that we cannot all respond to the medicine the same way. Age is a difference. So because of these differences we have, you realize that now when you take these drugs, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will experience those side effects that are listed. No. You may not. If you are unlucky, you may actually experience the severe form of those effects, what we call the adverse drug reactions. So this is why, as NDA, as one of our last mile monitoring measurements, we actually emphasize, we encourage whoever is taking medicines to be watchful, to be vigilant. Once you put the medicine into your body, once you administer this product into a patient, you need to monitor them, because anything can happen. One of those anything that can happen is actually the patient may not even respond to the medicine. Maybe they may need a change of medication. Okay? The other thing is that, yes, the medicine may work, but this patient might react to this drug. So the medicine is there working, the patient reacts, no, something else comes up. So you need to be able to monitor these patients so that when this new, something new develops up, you are able to detect it and then address it as soon as possible. So this is where now the pharmacovigilance bit comes in. And when we talk about pharmacovigilance, it concerns everybody. It's not just something for NDA, it's not something for the health workers, it's everybody. I can assure you, all of us are potential patients. Okay? So it is important that when we take these, when you use these products, we need to be vigilant. If anything comes up, we are able to detect it, and then we are able to forward this information to the responsible people, including National Drug Authority. All information on medicine must reach the National Drug Authority. We need that feedback so that we're able to evaluate these drug items.
Okay, now also looking at the situation of patients and how they react to certain medicines. Do we have patients who are vulnerable to certain drugs or to drugs themselves? And what kind of advice would you give to the pharmacists? And also, how many cases of the like are reported? Or is it just a business kind of thing for the pharmacists?
Not really. Yeah, like I said, we do not all respond to medicines the same way due to various factors. Some of these factors are patient-related, some of these factors are the drug-related. So because of this, there are some what we call risk factors. There are some groups of people who tend to experience these effects of medicines more. And this is actually a bit many. I'm going to list each of them one by one and also try to explain how they actually are at more risk. One of the categories of people who should be watched out closely when they are on medication is the children. Now, the children, with the children, the younger the age, the more at risk. Yeah, because these children are still young, their internal organs are still developing, they are delicate. So when you introduce in these drug chemicals to them, they can actually damage their organs. And if you're actually keen, you'll notice that most of the medicines formulated for children, they are not the same as those for adults. Their medicines are either they are dispersible tablets, those that when you drop in water, they easily dissolve to form a liquid. And some of them come in powder form where you make a solution. Some of them come in liquid form. Most of them come in liquid forms. One, it's for them to easily take it. And then secondly, those formulations are a bit dilute. They are not strong like for adults. So they are a bit dilute, so that when they are given this medication, it does not expose them to the risks associated with these drugs. Okay? Yeah, so because of that, now these children, whoever is going to give medication to children, they need to be monitored. And you see the other disadvantage we have with the kids is that there are people who cannot talk. They can't talk for themselves. Okay? You as an adult, once you take a medication, when you start when you feel dizzy, yes, when you start feeling dizzy after taking the medicine, or you feel maybe abdominal, stomach upset, then you can speak up. You can go back to the pharmacy, you tell them, this chief, this medicine I took seems not to be doing me well. But unlike you, the children cannot talk. The only symptoms you might see is the child continues crying and so on. Okay. Or maybe they can get fever, which you can feel, and so on. So because of that, sometimes by the time you are able to detect these reaction cases in children, it's a bit late. It's late. And remember, they're delicate. So you end up now having detecting them when they already are their severe stages. So we are saying, for children, we need to be extra cautious. Use medicine that are not used in them. I've been to several health facilities. Sometimes I see children are given medicine that are actually formulated for adults. You find them breaking tablets to pound and give to children. That's wrong.
You know, it's a very common practice because at times some drugs, Panadol, let's say, paracetamol, some of them look like even capsules. Okay. Most of them, according to some parents that I've interacted with, even some of my relatives, they would say it is very, difficult for the kid.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult. That's why after breaking it, they try to pound it into a powder form and then put water. But when you break it, it does not mean that that tablet, when you break, you're going to break into 2 equal parts. Then secondly, it doesn't mean that the medicine content in that half is the same as the other side. You get it? Okay. Yeah, so, but that one pill, we know, the actual, like for Panadol, we know that it is 500 milligrams in the whole. But when you break it, you're not sure that the other half is 250, the other half is 250. So that's the malpractice I'm talking about. So for children, we need to give them the appropriate medication, their formulation. Then secondly, this habit of self-medication children is very dangerous.
It is common with even the
child adults. Develops maybe fever, you just rush the pharmacy, you get Coartem. You assume it is malaria, you don't even check it. You go there and then surprisingly, they also give you. It's very bad. It's very bad. Avoid self-medication children. Okay. It's very dangerous. When this child is not okay, take them to the healthcare center, let the disease be identified and the right medication given. Okay. Okay. So that's number one, the category among children, usually below 2 years. And I think if you've seen most of, I want you the next time you go to the pharmacy to buy a drug, even those syrups and so on, you look at the requirement, the dosage and so on. Most of these drugs, they tell you it's not suitable for use under 2 years.
Yes, there's always a recommendation or let's say a cautious statement.
They caution you. So it's not suitable for below 2. So these are some of the reasons, the risks. Then patient category number 2, that's the vulnerable. The vulnerables. Yes. Pregnant mothers. Okay. For the pregnant mother, these are actually 2 cases in one. One is the fetus they are carrying. Second, it's the mother herself. You know, in pregnancy, there are a lot of changes, especially in hormones. Some hormones levels go up, some are reduced. And so because of these changes, it actually makes these mothers more vulnerable to many things, not just medicines. Okay? Yeah, so because of those hormonal changes, sometimes when they take some of these medicines, their body tends to respond harshly to them. Okay. So it results into maybe reactions. And then some medicines, when you use them during pregnancy, different stages, trimesters of the pregnancy, they can actually damage the fetus, development of the fetus.
Okay.
Many of these antibiotics are not recommended to use in pregnancy, especially early stages of pregnancy where the vital organs are developing. So when you use them, you're going to harm the developing fetus. So because of that, these people are at a high risk. So the medicine used in them, first of all, has to be scrutinized. Is this medicine supposed to be used in the pregnant mothers in that trimester? If not, please avoid it. And then even after giving it to them, you need to still monitor them. So that if they tend to show signs of vomiting and so on, you are able to address that as soon as possible. Category number 3.
Still vulnerable.
Still vulnerable. Actually, I should have coined this together. Pregnant mothers and breastfeeding mothers. You know, some drugs are able to cross into the breast milk. The baby will suck. Yeah, and then the baby will end up getting this.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
Yeah. So still, those mothers who are breastfeeding, they need to also be on the watch out, so that some medicines which are able to cross and the child gets it is probably avoided and or is monitored. And then category number 3 are people who have chronic conditions that damage their kidneys, internal organs like kidneys, liver, heart, and so on.
Okay.
Now, you know, with the medicines, not just medicine, anything you put in the body, at the end of the day has to come out. Okay? So when you take medicines, these medicines go into the stomach, they get broken down, they get dissolved into a liquid form, and then the body absorbs it. Now, once the body absorbs it, it first goes to the most of them first go to the liver. The liver tries to process it. Anything that is toxic, it eliminates it. And then now this now the medicine can now go into the other body parts where it will work and so on. Now this process where it goes to the liver, and then either the liver removes it from the body or it now comes to the kidney. The kidney filters it out and comes out through urine. So these processes the medicines go through subject these organs into some minor damages usually. So these organs, these chemicals, tend to cause minor injuries to the cells of these organs. But usually when you have these organs that are working very well, you will not feel that, because the body has that self-protecting measure. It usually tries to fight and bring itself to normal functioning. Yeah, so because of that, you realize people with the normal functioning organs, they don't usually have issues. They can take these medicines and the body handles it very well. But now, people whose organs are already deteriorating, whose organs are already failing, either the liver, the kidney, and so on. So when they're given these medicines actually cause further damage. So it will damage these organs more, and it will make them actually fail faster. So because of that, you realize most of the drugs, if they have an impact on the liver, the kidney, and so on, they'll tell you, please adjust the dose to avert that effect. Use lower dose. You titrate, start with a high, lower. You understand? Yeah. So those people are vulnerable. And the healthcare, I'm glad the healthcare workers know this. And usually people with organ damage, most times they're hospitalized. So they usually monitor them and so on. And actually, I'll mention this later. Yeah, so people with chronic conditions. And then the elderly, category number 4, the elderly.
Senior citizens.
Yes, the senior citizens, those with the gray hair, or sometimes they don't have. I know I'm also loose, but I'm not there.
I'm also waiting for another special case, the persons with disability. I don't know whether they also have.
It depends on disability, but they are not a specific category.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when it comes to medicines use.
Okay, when you mentioned the elderly, it takes me back to the fact that most of them are surviving on these drugs as well. Because of those those are some of the factors. Now, the elderly usually in medicine use, we start classifying them as elderly from the age of 75 and above. Okay. Yeah, but though there are those who may be below that age, but they already have now these conditions. Their organs are not working well and so on. So they will be treated in the same category because of the other risks they already have. So with the issue with the elderly is that one.
At that age, your organs are now deteriorating. It's a natural thing. Your organs are just like you. When you're young, you're employed. When you reach that age, you retire. It's the same thing with the organs. So they are deteriorating. The body now starts weakening. There are hormonal changes now. You know, a lot of things go on. So now the body is now tired. Now you do not need to subject them to now these strong chemicals. Otherwise, it will make their deterioration faster. And then secondly, by that age, you already have most of these diseases that come with that age. Yes. You have high blood pressure, which we usually call pressure. Yes, you already have the hypertension. Yes. You have, if you're lucky, if you're unlucky, you might have diabetes accompanying. Those usually go hand in hand. They're like brothers and sisters. Hypertension, diabetes, hypertension. So you find they're already on those conditions. Maybe there could also be other conditions. Okay? So once you're on those conditions, you'll be taking medicines. Because these are conditions that meet. So you'll be on medications. And most times you'll be taking more than 2 or 3 drugs, what we call. And when these drugs reach 5 or more, we could now call that polypharmacy. That also, in itself, it is a risk. Okay. Yes, people who are taking many drugs, that's also a risk, polypharmacy. Now, these many drugs, I told you, these are chemicals. When you put chemicals together, if you remember all chemistry, there could be a drug-drug interaction, chemical reaction. When these drugs come in contact, they could interact. And once there's interaction, either some of the drugs will not work well, or it will end up causing, some of these drug levels will be raised, so it will start causing what? These reactions and so on. Well,
Francis, I want us to return shortly after and look at the emergence of herbal medicine. Okay. It's very, very high on demand currently. Yeah. It's a big one to look back into. So many people in the business of herbal medicine today, whether they are doctors, whether they are trained, it's just the element of Sengan Koja, if you're to put it in that way. When we do return, I'm still with Francis. Francis is coming in from the National Drug Authority. Just a quick one. The NDA is a government-owned organization. This particular one regulates. It also makes sure that it regulates the manufacturing, importation, distribution, sale, and then licensing of drugs in the country. Our conversation, though, is rather looking at monitoring drug safety in that regard. And of course, if you're to look at it in that way, it's more like the pharmacovigilance. That is where we're having our discussion this morning. Stick around, though. After the break, we have conversations starting with herbal medicine.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra. Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Actually, Zono Industrial is one of the presidential initiatives which is brought here in Achule land to skill our youth. The skilling is free of charge. What you really need, you have to be within the age of 18 to 35. They don't need any requirements apart from being willing. You have to be willing, and a youth who is willing to get the skills. The courses we have started with only 4. That is tailoring, hairdressing, carpentry, and welding. First intake, we registered 212 students. From 10 administrative units of Acholi. These students, they recruited them from different districts within the Acholi sub-region. If we continue with this cooperation, many beneficiaries will pass through us, and they will go with enough skills and non-skills, which will change them and later bring them into an economy. We shall really fight poverty in that way.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning, Uganda Extra. Pharmacovigilance, I'm now good with the word, is monitoring drug safety. It's the kind of conversation we're having this morning. I'm with Francis Odepio from the National Drug Authority. He is the Inspector of Drugs, and he's coming from the Directorate of Product Safety. So this is where we are talking monitoring drug safety. Francis.
Yes, please.
Herbal medicine. There is a huge rise of the same. Adverts on television, not only that, social media, radio. We have in every region.
Sometimes
you have
by the roadside.
By the roadside, we have vehicles running around in cities, in different suburbs, selling medicine, herbal medicine. The bigger question has been, who is regulating this one? And not only the regulation part of it, there is a belief that herbal medicine, which for a fact may as well be, because when you look at when you look at the probability of people using herbal medicine and the other artificial medicine, I should say, at times the herbal medicine does work. So the question goes back to, who's regulating the herbal medicine? And is it right that herbal medicine serves more purpose than the kind of medicine that we are used to, the modern medicine that we're used to?
Okay. Yeah, it's true. Herbal medicines are becoming a thing in this country.
Yes.
You go to pharmacies, find them. There are those who are doing the right way, and then still there are those who are still doing it the wrong way, that we are trying our level best to correct them. And actually, if you look into one of our functions as the National Drug Authority, we promote research and development of medicines. And in Uganda, I think now people are getting to know this, so they are coming up. Those who had this, this gift of maybe making medicine, those who have gone to school and they know how to make this, they're now coming up, and they're coming up with the different products on the market. However, we have a procedure for them. It's not that you're just going to wake up one day, pick a few leaves here or seed, pound them, package them in a bottle, and then put it on the market. No, we don't do things that way. Unfortunately, some people are still doing that way. And then they even go ahead. They start now marketing, passing out information on these drugs, which sometimes is misleading, that this drug treats A, B, C, D, all sorts of things, one drug. That's a wrong one. But there are those who are doing it the right way. They come to us, we guide them, that this is how this product should be packaged, this is how it should be, you should make it, like you need to have A, B, C, D in place, so that by the time you come out with this product, it meets the 3 criteria. You still remember? Safety, number one. Efficacy or effectiveness, does it work? Then number 3, does it have the qualities that we need of this product? Okay. Yeah. So we guide them on all those requirements. And then herbal medicines, for us, as long as it's medicines, it is treated the same way, whether it's from the herbal source or it's the conventional one. These are manufactured, synthesized, and then manufactured. We all have same requirements. However, though, for herbal medicines, these ones of indigenous roots from our own sources, we sort of made much more lower requirements for them, because we're trying to encourage people to come up with this product. We also do not want this scenario where we're importing. Currently, actually, we import over 80% of our medicines.
Okay.
And over 90% of these products come from Asia, India, Pakistan, and so on. So we want to be able to reduce that and start consuming products from our own source, so that they'll be cheaper for the local person to afford. Yeah, so because of that, we guide them. We tell them the right things to do. And those who are compliant, really, they're doing well. I think if you go to the farmers, you see so many herbal products. And even those who advertise, there was a time we had issues with advertising. And actually, we were a bit sad that some of you, the media people were actually airing these adverts which were not, which are misleading.
They're still ongoing in certain media houses.
We are still engaging those media houses.
Because there's a monetary term to it.
Exactly, because they are looking at the money aspect, but there's the risk. Because if you allow someone to come on your platform and start telling people misleading stuff, you are going to encourage many people out there to use these products. And in the end, it will become a health hazard. Okay? So, adverts on medicines, not just herbal and so on, are also regulated by National Drug Authority. I think that's something that I didn't tell you. Anything with the medicines, adverts, sale, distribution, manufacture, anything with the medicines, we regulate them. So that for adverts, we want to be sure that the information we are passing out is the correct information and it is targeting the right audience. We do not want you to start using these maybe aphrodisiacs or sex enhancement pills you're advertising to children. That's not the right audience. It might be the right information, but the audience is not the right one. You get it? Yeah, so
and it may have effects on the young ones.
Because the purpose of adverts is to woo people into buying these items, to consume them. You're trying to convince people to consume these items. So if you're going to put out these adverts to the wrong audience, you're going to capture the wrong audience into using these products. So that's why the information you pass out has to be regulated, vetted, and approved before you pass it out. Now, coming back to the aspect of use of herbal medicines, and some people claiming that, for me, my product, I get it from this leaf of the tree, which actually we can even, it's consumed, it's edible, and so on. So it is safe. No, that's a myth. A very big myth.
It is safe. No, the issue is all about the regulation part of it, because these people now are having drugs that look like the modern medicine. So it's like they've become a mini manufacturer. So the concern comes out that however effective they are, at times some, like you've mentioned, it is an advertising technique. Someone may actually benefit off the same drugs, and others may, they won't get side effects, but at times they may not work out for them. Now, how do they run to NDA, yet they know nothing about your regulations towards the same people dealing with these herbal medicines?
Actually, if you've been on the look, we've been out to several media houses educating people, passing out the information about medicines and so on. And the other thing I told you about when we just began the show, I told you we have a drug register. It is an online, I know us Ugandans, we have a poor reading culture, but it's there. You just go on the internet, go to our website, you find the drug register up there. You find all sorts of drugs there. So one of the ways for you to know whether this product, this item you have, be it herbal or not, is you go there, type, search for the name of the item, it will bring it. If it's registered, it will bring it. If not, contact us. Contact us. Our contacts are there. We have a toll-free line, we have a WhatsApp number, we have an email. All those are functional. So contact us, ask about this item. If you're not sure, we shall verify it with that this item is actually authorized, it is very okay. Yes, so this is regardless of whether it is herbal or not. And then the other thing is that, yes, herbal medicine is like any other medicine. I told you every medicine has a claim. Either it treats a particular disease or diseases, or it is used to prevent a disease or diseases, what we call prophylaxis, or that medicine can be used to identify the disease or what we call diagnosis. So those are the three functions major functions of medicines. It's either used for treatment or prevention or diagnosis of a disease. So any of those claims has to be, like I told you, it has to be substantiated with the facts, with the scientific facts, and data has to be there to prove it.
Okay.
This be it herbal or not. Okay? Yeah, so with the herbals, like I told you, we sort of lowered the requirements. We waived off that requirement of them undergoing some of these rigorous studies. But as long as they can identify this item, we look at how are they manufacturing this, number one. Two, where are they getting this plant or whatever source of their requirement, raw materials from? Does that raw material have a component of that claim they're saying actually treats this or does this and that? Okay, so we shall also test them, these items, to find out if actually that claimed ingredient that has that impact is there, and the amount of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now looking at how people can easily tell.
Okay.
Because first you can tell that your body is reacting.
Yeah.
At times it's difficult to tell it's the medicine.
Yeah.
That is actually making the body react that way.
Okay.
But how can they tell that, you know, the drugs they've taken are having side effects on them? And after finding out, how then can they address this issue? This I'm actually saying to the National Drug Authority, because now you are the regulator here. How do they reach out to you? How do they report these particular cases? Or do they go back to the hospitals, first to their doctors?
Yeah. Those are many questions in one. I think I'll take them one at a time.
Are you sure?
First, how can you be able to detect that you're actually reacting to a medicine, you're experiencing a medicine side effect and so on? One, once you take a medicine, I remember telling you this, you need to be vigilant. This vigilant is not just for the patient, even the caretaker. You know, some of these patients are in the wards and they are unconscious, so they can't really, you know, they can't be vigilant. So it's the caretaker that will be monitoring them, their response to medicine. Then also the other person to be vigilant is the attending health worker, the doctor, the nurse, and even the pharmacist who is managing that patient. They all need to be vigilant. When they are reviewing these patients, they need to inquire about their response to medicines, how they feel after taking the medicine. All that information needs to be what? Put up. Now, vigilance is one of the ways you can detect that something is going wrong. Once you take a medication, then you notice some changes within your body. For example, after taking medicine, you tend to feel dizzy. That's already an effect. It's a suspected effect of the medicine. I think one of the commonest effects with the, I don't know if you know this drug called Piriton, citrazine, when you take it, you tend to feel dizzy. That's the effect we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay? And then sometimes you find maybe you have a stomach upset, you have diarrhea. Sometimes you don't even feel like eating, what you call loss of appetite. Sometimes it makes you feel like you want to eat all the time. That can be an effect of the medicine. I've seen it's very common. There's this common drug now that is used in treatment, prevention of TB. It was introduced recently, isoniazid rifampicin. Now, when these people are given this medicine, the same day you start taking the drug, you see as if you're urinating blood. Okay? So now, because of this, you sometimes can tend to get scared and no. So these changes, any change that you notice within your body, that number one suspect is the drug. Okay. So you need to speak up. Okay? That's number one, being vigilant. Number two, this is for patients like the category I told you about, those with the chronic conditions who are taking these medicines for a longer period of time. You need to go for routine checkups. For routine health, you go for routine health visits. I told you these drugs, when you take them in the body, they keep damaging the cells of these organs slowly. They cause small damages. Now, the longer you take these drugs, these effects will keep accumulating. Even the drug itself, sometimes it keeps accumulating in the body. So, if you do not go and get those, checkups and so on to see if your internal organs are still functioning the way they are supposed to normally, and then you only wait to start seeing maybe signs and symptoms that you maybe have a distended abdomen. Those signs and symptoms come usually when it is late, when it is end stage. So the best way to detect these cases as early as possible, go have your body checked up. have the kidneys checked up, have the liver checked up. Are they still functioning the same way?
Okay.
If their tests are not normal, the doctors will tell you that something probably is wrong, and they will be able to notice that maybe it is this drug, and that can be treated, or an action can be taken to stop further damage that the drug is causing.
Okay.
You get it? Yeah, and this is common. You know, when I talk about health checkup, it doesn't mean that you go, they subject you to some big machine, they check you, they get your blood. No. Some of the checkups are as minor as checking your blood pressure. For example, people who have hypertension, they're on these antihypertensive, these pressure drugs.
Okay.
One of the common side effects of these pressure drugs is that it actually lowers your pressure below. It lowers your pressure lower than the expected value. And that again becomes a problem. Same thing with diabetes drugs. These drugs for managing diabetes. So if you don't check up, go for these routine visits to get checked up, you will not know. Because you cannot, I can't see you like this and say, your blood pressure is maybe 120 over 75 or 80. No, it has to be checked.
Okay.
And it's a very simple check. So go for these routine visits,
okay,
so that any problem can be detected as early as possible, and then the necessary measures can be taken to restore that effect.
All right, Francis, lastly, for people who want to reach out to the National Drug Authority, how do they find the offices, and how do they reach out to you? That is via online, or if they are to call?
Yeah, once you detect there's a problem, you suspect there's a problem with either the drug or the way you respond to the medicine, please speak up.
Okay.
You need to speak up. One, you need to immediately inform the healthcare worker, inform your healthcare worker where you get these medicines from. Tell them about that experience, or tell them about that drug. Maybe the drug will not be working. That's a problem. Maybe the drug is changing color and so on. That is a problem. So inform them. That's number one. Okay. Then all this information, this feedback on medicine, we need to get them as National Drug Authority, because we are the people in charge of these drugs. So if anything goes wrong, it is our responsibility to correct that. So inform us, reach out to us, tell us what has happened. We shall then do the necessary investigations to find out where the problem is. If there's a problem, we shall take actions to prevent the larger population, the entire country, because these drugs are used countrywide. Okay. So to reach us, we have, like I told you, we have a toll-free line, which is 0800 101 999, toll-free. I repeat, 0800 101 999 or 999. Okay. Then we have a WhatsApp number. Sometimes that toll-free line, to be honest, sometimes it's a bit clogged up. It has jammed because people are calling. But we have a WhatsApp number which you can send in that information anytime. We also have an email. So the WhatsApp number is 0740 002 070. 0740 002 070. And then we have email, which you can just write to us and then send us that information. It is druginfo at nda.or.ug. Okay. So any of these, there are others, but these are the commonest that we use. Okay. And I usually encourage them to use the WhatsApp.
Okay, in your parting shots, minute or two, advice or tip to a pharmacist, to a patient, and then to anyone who wants to sell drugs. Okay. Because the Kampala we are in today, people are capitalizing on every business opportunity they get, regardless of whether it is going to affect people in the long run or not. But what advice would you be giving to these particular people? Still, also your parting shots.
Yes, medicine business is not for everybody. It is strictly regulated, and this is done worldwide. So don't just wake up and start supplying. No, come to NDA. Get directed on what to do, the right things to do, get licensed, and then you can get going, can get running. Because the business you want to start doing is actually dealing with the people's lives. Now, with the drug business, for us, we take it this way. It is service first. The money comes in later. So when you're going to offer that service, you need to make sure you have all the requirements in place. You have the qualified people, your premise is very okay, it meets the suitable requirements, and then we license you and then give you the go-ahead. But if you choose to do it the other way around, surely I can assure you we shall come for you. You will not last longer doing that illegal business. Yeah, we're always in the field combing the villages, the cities, to see if there are any illegal people, drugs being smuggled. We're always there. So please, let's do the right thing, get licensed, and give us the feedback on these drugs so that we are able to improve them for all of us. When there is a defective drug on the market, you don't know who is going to use this drug. It could be you, it could be your relative, it could be me, it could be my relative. Anyone is a potential patient. So don't hide any information on medicine. Report any suspicious issues on medicines to NDA so that we can take the necessary actions to prevent further harm to the entire population.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Francis. And of course, we've been talking matters pharmacovigilance, that is monitoring drug safety. The conversations do come to bed now, and my guest this morning was Francis Odipio, who is the Inspector of Drugs at the National Drug Authority from the Directorate of Product Safety. Many thanks for joining us, Francis. It has been a very impactful conversation and rather insightful as well. But also to our dear viewers, thank you very much for sticking around to UBC Good Morning Uganda from the time we started and kicked off at 6:30 a.m. till now. Coming up, though, is the Pan-African show. So stick around to UBC as more conversations and discussions are coming your way. Till Monday, for me and the team, Good Morning Uganda, have a lovely weekend and all the best for your Friday. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free. Junko. Yo. What Chico? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Junko, I thought I was one of your friends.
You are,
but you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Actually, Zono Industrial is one of the presidential initiatives which is brought here in Achule land to skill our youth. The skilling is free of charge. What you really need, you have to be within the age of 18 to 35. They don't need any requirements apart from being willing. You have to be willing, and a youth who is willing to get the skills.